What's up, Bulls Nation? It's the Bloody Horns podcast. I'm your host, Justin, here to give you the daily content. We're going to pivot from what I had planned today. I was going to do the 5 keys to victory. I already posted that on Twitter. If you haven't seen it already, I was going to kind of expand on those points, but we just had this huge OG Anunoby trade breakdown. So I'm going to talk about that and say, why I think the Knicks might have made a mistake here. They should have targeted Zach Lavine. I'd rather have Zach Lavine than OG Anunoby for a couple different reasons, right? So the trade ended up being RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, second-round pick, going to Toronto. The Knicks are getting back OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa. So I don't hate the trade for the Knicks because I am a big Precious Achiuwa fan too, and with them losing Mitchell Robinson for the year, I think it's a good pick for them. I think Anunoby fits into what they're doing a little bit better than RJ Barrett did. He's a little more consistent. Now, the reason I'm saying I would rather have Zach Lavine if I was them, I think OG Anunoby is super overrated, guys. He's not, we talk about him like he's this great defender. I wouldn't put him in the top 15 of perimeter defenders. And if you're going to, it'd be somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. He's not top 10. Scoring wise, he's not a consistent bucket getter. He's not going to get you 20 points a game. The way he's been talked about the last year or so with his trade value, you would think that he was like a all NBA second team level player, franchise caliber player. And he's just not, that ceiling just isn't there. He's a very nice role player, but I think he's become a little bit overrated. We heard reports last year they were turning down 3-4 first-round picks for him, which if that's true, that's absolutely insane that they had to now settle for this trade package for him. So I think OG is just a little bit overrated. Nice player, don't get me wrong, very nice player, just a little overrated. And I would rather have Zach Lavine. The biggest reason I think I'd rather have Zach Lavine is OG Anunoby's contract is up after this year. Zach Lavine, obviously, he has a very big contract. He's making $40 million a year right now. It escalates a little bit. I think the last year of that deal is $48-50 million. Do not be surprised if OG Anunoby's contract, he's probably going to re-sign with the Knicks. That's probably how this trade got facilitated. But don't be surprised if that next contract of his eclipses Zach Lavine's. That's just the way the NBA works. You're going to see, when Zach Lavine first signed his deal, a lot of people said that's crazy, that's insane money. But now we're seeing some of these other deals that are trickling in. And I think OG Anunoby, you guys are going to be shocked by the contract he gets. His numbers are going to surpass Zach Lavine. So I would rather have Zach Lavine just from the contract standpoint. I think Zach Lavine is much more consistent of a shot creator, which the Knicks definitely can use. Sometimes their offense gets a little bogged down in the fourth quarter with Jalen Brunson having to do too much and Julius Randle kind of struggling to create a little bit. Zach Lavine would give them a little bit more range. He's obviously a much better three-point shooter than OG Anunoby. He can create his shot. He can get to the rim a lot better than OG Anunoby. The possibilities when you think of Jalen Brunson, driving, getting that defense sucking in on him, and then dishing it out to Zach Lavine, those possibilities, those are pretty intriguing. And I'm not a big Zach Lavine fan by any means. If you guys have been following me for a while, I'm pretty honest when it comes to Zach. He has a lot of flaws. He's not a great defender. I question if he's going to be able to adjust to a new role in a new offense. Laker fans, Warrior fans, they love to say Zach Lavine can be our Klay Thompson. I don't think Zach Lavine would ever play like that. I don't think he really has interest in playing like that, but you never know. And could Coach Tibbs be a positive influence on Zach Lavine? They do have history together. They had that 1 year in Minnesota. That was Zach Lavine's kind of breakout year. So I think Zach Lavine would have been a better trade for them. And on the Bulls side, I wouldn't mind RJ Barrett coming back. I'm not a huge RJ Barrett fan. I think he is what he is. He's going to get you 15, 18 points a game. It's whatever. He does have pretty good size. I'm a big Emmanuel Quickly fan. I don't know how he fits in, with Kobe White, Caruso, Ayo Dosunmu, Dalen Terry stepping up. It would have been interesting to see how we fit Emmanuel Quickly in on there. And I know everybody thinks we need to get a first-round pick for Zach Lavine, but if the Raptors didn't get a first-round pick for OG Anunoby, I don't know that there's a trade out there for the Bulls to get a first-round pick for Zach Lavine. So it's an interesting trade. It shakes up the Eastern Conference now. I think it makes the Knicks a lot stronger, especially getting Precious Achiuwa. Don't sleep on that pickup by them. This isn't all just about OG Anunoby. Not having to give up a first-round pick if you're the Knicks is huge too, because they still do have picks, I believe, from... Don't they have the Pistons pick, even though it's heavily protected? They got a Mavericks pick, I think, still coming. They got somebody else's pick, so they still got assets they can swing for a bigger trade down the road. So it's a big trade. You know, the Raptors finally shook it up. We'll see if RJ Barrett can live up to his potential a little bit more in Toronto than he did in New York. But I think 6 months from now, when the playoffs are over, Knicks fans might be looking around and saying, man, we could have got Zach Lavine for that same trade package. So I'm not going to be around for tonight's game, guys. It's my fiance's birthday. We're celebrating that. I will rewatch it tomorrow morning, give you guys my thoughts on that. If you're not following on Twitter, it's at HornsBlood. If you're not hitting subscribe on this video already, please do. Trying to grow the page. Bulls got an interesting game tonight. You know, I expect a big Andre Drummond game again. Let's go Bulls.